network marketing just meant instead of us trying to sell a product on a big site like an Amazon where we own the product, I just look at it differently. We would rather build and develop the network, and then the products can interchange. The products
Okay.
can come and go. So we're not putting all of our hope in the future on a product.
Hey there, my little biz besties. Welcome back to In Good Company, where real entrepreneurs share real growth stories. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Let's get into it.
I know John today, but I don't know John and Monica 15 plus
Yeah, we've been
years
married
ago.
for 14 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Monica, are you okay?
What's that?
Being with John for 14 years. Are you okay? I see John once a week, but we talk a lot about our networking group that we're in. So blink twice if you're okay. She didn't blink at all. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
So 15 years ago,
Yep.
what were y'all doing at 15 years ago? Because 15 years ago, when I look at you, you must have been like 15 years old, 16 years old.
Yep, at least, right?
Okay, so what does that look like? How did y'all meet? Tell me the story, as if I don't know the
Who do you
tiny
want
bit.
to tell that part of the story?
Who's better at it?
I mean, we both have our...
Usually I'll tell my side and then he can tell his side. He'll fill in the gap.
Okay, well, let's start with Monica because I love a woman's point of view first, obviously. So what happened 15 years ago?
Yeah, so I was in college. I went to Virginia Tech. I was studying marketing, so I was studying business. Wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I always liked that idea, and I like the creative side of marketing. That's why I got into it. And so I came back from Christmas break after it was in my sophomore year, and I asked a friend how her break was, and she was like, "It was awesome. I just got connected with some people who are helping me make some money outside of school, and they're giving me some business experience. They're successful. They live in DC area." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Are they looking for anybody else?" Because I was looking to just make some extra money. I was a personal trainer. I was working at a restaurant. I was grinding it in college, trying to make a little money, just fun money.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I don't know, but I can introduce you and like see if they're looking for anybody else." So that was how I got connected in business, starting to learn about entrepreneurship, starting to learn from some people who are already successful. And just get some business experience, truly like learning how to network and learning how to have confidence talking with people, and even like as simple as making eye contact with people you're talking with and things like that. And like even just calendar planning and time management and those kind of things that as a 20-year-old, I was like a child. I didn't know those things. I didn't
Never had to do it
I didn't
before.
practice those things. So I started down the path of business in college of just learning, kind of being mentored in certain ways. And then, so I was excited about that, but also excited about getting a good job when I graduated college. So
that's the goal.
So, and wanted to work in marketing. So I graduated, moved to the DC area, which is where a lot of people at Virginia Tech end up going. And so I was living in Northern Virginia. And I went to a business conference in North Carolina, randomly bumped into this guy, literally like, so one of the old, head designers for Abercrombie and Fitch. Yeah. He started his own t-shirt brand, and they happened to be at this business conference. And I knew them, and he knew their intern. So he randomly was in this little like t-shirt show that
Would you have ever guessed that I was a model?
So we actually
not for Abercrombie and Fitch.
We actually met like modeling for this thing. Is the only thing we've ever done that was anything like that. It was super random. It was kind of like just doing it for a friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we ran into each other, and I was running late. So I was literally his first time seeing me. I was sprinting to get there as they're like about to walk on stage in front of 20,000 people wearing these t-shirts. Yeah. So we literally just crossed paths that day. There's a picture of him standing behind me. And we hadn't even talked yet. So there's a picture of us together, like right. It looks like we're a couple, but we hadn't even met yet. So we re-bumped into each other amongst 20,000 people on Sunday, and he recognized me and was like, "Oh, you were in the t-shirt show Friday. I remember you." Yeah. And so we exchanged numbers, just completely casual, and then ended up continuing to chat a little bit. He called me 2 weeks later, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" I was not looking for anything. I was just doing my thing in DC area, like working 70 hours a week in sales at the time. Yeah. Ended up dating long distance for about a year and 3 months, and ended up getting married. Where his story is very parallel, so he can tell what he was up to, and it's literally like parallel paths, and we just like combined paths and then like kept running together. So
love that. I love that. Yeah. I love that you got your first picture is you don't know each other. That's so
Yeah, like when people
romantic.
see it, they would think, oh, like they're already together,
Yeah.
but we hadn't met until 2 days later.
Cool. Okay, so you're grinding
Uh-huh.
Virginia Tech to DC.
Yep.
What were you doing with some t-shirts? How did you get there?
So yeah, the part of that, I was in college, I was playing football, and
Okay.
in that season of my life, everybody was saying get an internship. And
Okay.
so I was looking for internships, I was looking for something to do.
Yeah.
Ended up meeting somebody that owned a business, and I
Mhm.
just asked him the question, "Hey, do you have any internships?" He said, "No internships, but I do have more of like an apprenticeship if you want to learn about business and entrepreneurship." I was like, "Perfect."
Like, what's the difference?
Yep.
Being
Yeah.
paid? Is that the
You know,
difference?
yeah,
Wording? Okay.
being paid, yeah.
Okay. Was this in the
you know.
Carolinas?
So this was I was in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh
So
my
I was going
gosh.
to school at Thomas
Okay.
More, and
Okay.
it was a small college. I played football there for 4 years.
Okay.
Studied marketing, and I love the idea of business, entrepreneurship, anything in that route.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I stepped into the role. Got invited to that same conference that she mentioned,
Yeah.
and that was when we were probably 23, 24 years old,
Yeah.
and we started dating, like she said, long distance. So yeah, that
From
uh,
Ohio
my
to Virginia.
my memory is kind of like in like Baywatch when they're running slow motion.
Was that you?
No,
You were
her-
running?
Because
Oh,
I was
sure.
literally running because
she
I was
was running
late.
late.
And so
Yeah.
he tells the story that my hair was flying in the wind and
Of
there was so many
course.
bright lights because we were about to go on stage. So
Yeah.
he just tells this
He was
funny rendition of
mesmerized.
his.
I was.
Yeah.
He's
He
like, wow,
says
who
that
is
like
that?
as I was
Blonde
running, he just had this
hair.
whole Baywatch moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How romantic for you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you're watching the babe
Yeah.
run, and that's when you were.
And he
Yeah.
was
Kinda
like, I'm going to
pulled.
marry that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
much
you
it.
made sure to stand behind her in the
Yeah.
pictures.
Oh yeah. And probably stalked
I
her
don't
all
know that that
weekend.
was
Yeah.
So-
intentional. Yeah, we ran into each other Sunday. Meanwhile, he'd
Okay.
been looking for me. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
It's like, where's that girl? We just ran into each other. So you dated long distance for a
Yep.
year, doing your own things at
Yep.
the time.
You know,
Yes,
and
we were
both
both.
of us, had a full-time job. So we were
Mhm.
in a sales type role where it was
Okay.
like a 9 to 5, your W-2, working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because obviously you got to pay your bills.
Mhm.
And on the side, that's where, we believe that, having a secondary source of income is critical in today's economy.
For sure.
Well, I was living in DC area, one of the highest cost of living areas in the US.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like, I think at the time, maybe number 3 in the whole US for expensive. So
Yeah.
like even just sharing an apartment with a roommate that was this tiny little apartment, I literally wouldn't have been able to
Oh,
live on what I was making. And I had
right.
a really good starting salary at the job that I worked at. Like most people would be like, oh, she's successful, but I would not have been able to pay my rent and my car payment with that,
Without
like
it.
at the time, and eat and pay my gas to get to and from work. So
Yeah.
it was actually necessary for me to be doing other things outside of my full-time
Right.
job. So some people are like, oh, you were ambitious. You were working full-time, like 70 hours a week and, grinding it outside with some entrepreneurial things. I'm like, I was
Mm.
trying to eat. Like
Yeah.
I
This was
had to. I
survival.
mean, the cost of
Yeah.
living, it really made me do that as
Yeah.
well. So I was
Yeah.
thankful that I had gotten that experience in college to set me up for that. So
Sure.
I at least had some experience when I was in, Northern Virginia area. I was already
Yeah.
making at least $1,000 a month outside of my full-time job, just in my spare time, just, doing some
Doing other
things.
things.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you're in Ohio, the funnest state in the whole world. Not at all. And you're working a full-time job. So when did you decide to take on some side money?
So that was while I was in college. I mean,
Okay.
when I told you I was looking for that internship, I mean, I had sold T-shirts,
Mhm.
not for the ones that I was modeling, but
I'm
It's
gonna do some deep diving to find that.
okay. But I had done a lot of things. As a kid,
Mhm.
I was the guy that had the lawn care business.
Oh,
There
yeah,
was a lot of
okay.
things that I tried to do to get outside the box.
Sure.
I was wanting to flip houses, start my own landscape company, do whatever
Yeah.
I could do. And so I'm getting out of college, going to my first full-time job, just thinking, there's no way I'm going to do this
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Ever. Yeah.
The idea of doing that forever was, just
Daunting, maybe a little
daunting,
bit.
didn't love it.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I wanted to branch outside the box. I grew up around business owners here in Louisville. I've got a big family, probably 5 of my
Okay.
uncles, my mom, they all were self-employed.
Yeah.
So I understood that if you go into business, you can provide more.
Sure. There's not really a cap of this is what you're gonna make until you get another raise from someone else. And there's beauty in that too. It's also scary, but beauty. So you had the entrepreneurial background already there with family and in your own self, wanting to build for yourself. Do you come from a similar background?
I come from a home where my dad was successful in corporate. He was an engineer. And
Yeah.
to this day, like I very much admire the hard work and the stability that he provided for my family. I was always proud of, if I would invite friends over, they'd be like, oh, wow, like beautiful home. And my dad drove a car that was really fun. He would come to pick me up. And so that was, I saw the successful corporate part, but they also always encouraged me and my sister both to chase our dreams, sky's the limit, believe in yourself, whatever you want to do. So that could include corporate. My sister is extremely successful corporately. I've always had the bend more towards independence and wanting to do some things on my own. So I think a little bit of mix of both. My parents dabbled in some entrepreneur stuff, but primarily they did the more, stable 40-hour-a-week thing. But they did encourage us to just chase our dreams. If there's a way that you can have no limits, no cap on what you can make, like what you were talking about, then that's worth it. Like you can do it, whatever you want to do. So I think they just instilled that self-image in us to try and be ambitious and be successful in whatever we wanted to. And for me, that included doing things outside of corporate.
I love that, because a lot of people that are entrepreneurs that don't come from that background, myself, I had W-2 parents. And so sometimes when people start businesses, you get a little pushback. They're kind of like, what are you doing? You have a family. That's so irresponsible. But you guys, sounds like you had a huge support.
Yeah.
So how does all of this lead to network marketing? Because when I think network marketing, I love TikTok as a consumer. Like, show me an organizing video. Show me someone restocking their fridge. Like, show me a day in the life of the most boring person. And I'm in. When network marketing comes up, it feels like they say you can make money without leaving your home. They say all you have to do is a few posts. Like, tell me what it looks like for you versus what the TikTok bros might tell me.
And I would say that's a huge part of the problem. Is because the promise never meets the reward. And so many times, you're promised this amazing outcome, and very few people either think or consider or see that ever coming to fruition. And so for us, I think of business ownership as one of two routes. You're like, start a business where it's traditional and you have to go full time in it, and it is ownership. We call it by force. Like, it's like, I've heard it called that way, ownership by force, where you're going all in. And it's high risk, high reward.
Sure.
The other option is ownership by a progression, meaning you have a full-time job, and you see this a lot with side hustles. You see this a lot with people that are freelancers. They're able to do something in their spare time.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people will tend to follow what they see on social media, whether it be designing their own clothing line, designing something that they can sell on Shopify, whatever it might be.
Right.
And you see a lot of people go that route. Well, once you decide to go the route of being in business, now you have to figure out, how do I get the word out? How do I make other people aware of what I'm doing?
Of what's going on here.
And so you kind of have two options. You can spend money, and you can advertise, you can market, and there's a lot that goes into that. There's a big risk there because it may not always produce or provide. And the other route is word of mouth. And so there's a couple things that set us up for pursuing a network marketing business, and why we look back and we're so thankful. One is, it wasn't ownership by force. It was ownership by progression, which means we could pay our bills with a full-time job. We could work our 9-to-5s, but then we could also do something in our spare time. However much we wanted to put in, that was up to us.
And it probably changed seasonally. Especially when you start
Especially
having
the
kids,
Yes.
and, maybe you're getting busier at your full-time and you needed to kind of dial back. You had mentioned in our conversation, you were doing yoga and things like that. So this was something that could grow with you. Okay.
It could grow with us, and then it grew us, because we look at the environment that you're in. Whoever you're around the most, you're going to be like the 5 people you spend the most time around. And so for us, building and pursuing something with a team, it helped us grow and mature. There was mentorship, there was perspective. And it wasn't a quota, like, pressure environment. Where you had to do something.
You have to make this sale to get to this
That
tier.
pressure really is why I think a lot of people don't like sales. Because it's all transactional. And I personally have never liked transactional sales. I've tried to stay away from it in my career in the corporate world, because transactional sales to me is, I'm going to benefit, and I don't know if you're going to benefit.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, a few thoughts to to tag on to what he said, he talked about like us growing as people. I remember it just brought up a memory when I was living in the DC area. Like Northern Virginia, which is the suburb of DC, is a very like ambitious area. It's
Sure.
tons of young professionals. I
Yeah.
mean, tons of people there making really good money. I
Mhm.
remember distinctively one day, and I was 23 years old, fresh out of college. I was at a Starbucks. I was just grabbing coffee. I was not there for anything business related, but I was just who I was as a person. This guy walks up to me and he goes, "I'm the owner of a huge like power company in town. You need to work for me." And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "I've been observing you. You have talked with almost every person in
Mhm.
here, and just the rapport that you've built with these people, not even trying, is
Yeah.
incredible. You need to work for me." And I didn't
Yeah.
even try to do that, like, but it was just
Yeah.
who I had become as a person to become such a just networker and genuinely
Yeah.
interested in people and a good listener and just like others focused. The skills that I learned through doing business on the
Right.
side in college, that business experience I
Coming
got, it
in.
really did form me into somebody that was a little more useful in the corporate world. And I
Yeah.
had developed skills that were valuable in that arena. So we find that a lot, that people who they might have a side hustle
Yeah.
similar to ours outside of their full-time job, but it actually helps them get raises and promotions or
The skills
you
come
know,
into
yeah,
play.
like different
Yeah.
advancements and promotions within their corporate, because
Mhm.
it does help them grow certain skills as a
Right.
person too.
I love that.
So I think of three currencies. We all have three currencies. Most people would think of money as the first one. Like you have
Sure.
you have an amount of currency with your financials,
Yeah.
but then you have currency with your time, and then you have currency with your knowledge.
Mm.
And so when you need one of those currencies, let's say you need more money,
Yeah.
then you leverage or trade the other two. So you're trading your
Mhm.
time to get money. That's how 95% of people get money,
Sure.
is actively earning income, trading
Mhm.
it hours for dollars. Some people have the ability to have a lot of knowledge, which usually takes a lot of time, but you're
Yeah.
leveraging those two currencies to get your money. What do our culture and our society promote right now? Well, if you want to make money, then you should go to school and get an education.
Mhm.
So what we teach is if you want more knowledge, trade your money to a school, show up, and then invest your time for 4 years to get the knowledge, which will then in turn help you go get the
Right.
money. So it's like we have these three currencies. Well, while we were working full-time jobs, we were doing things a couple hours a week, a couple hours a night that the average person either wasn't willing to do or
Yeah.
didn't want to do. And I think at the end of the day, business ownership, that's what it comes down to.
Oh yeah. For
Business
sure.
owners that are going to be successful and build something, they do what others don't want to do or they're not willing to do.
Yeah.
And so we took a little bit of our time and we invested that time into getting more knowledge, more
Mhm.
perspective, more experience, more skills, which, like she said, related and translated over to us earning more income
Right.
at our 9 to 5 jobs. It translated to us being able to have skills that made us more valuable
Mhm.
so that she could get identified by somebody that said, "Hey, I want you to come work." We've both had that happen to us multiple times.
Yeah.
We've had people seek us out. "Hey, we
Mhm.
want to start a company. We want to do this. Will you help us?"
Yeah.
I've been a part of a startup here in Louisville and seen kind of how that works. As far as there's a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
especially when there's 7 figures of money that's being invested into that
Mhm.
business.
Right.
You've got to produce.
You've got to show up.
Yep. The
Yeah.
investors want their money back
Yeah.
and they want profits.
Right. And that's a lot of pressure too, for the salesperson, whether it's the owner, which generally it starts that way, or the sales guy. And so when I think about network marketing, I struggle wrapping my head around it because it's such a broad term.
Sure.
Are we selling things? Are we mentoring? Did we create a lead magnet and put it on a link tree and go from there and like made it in Canva? Like what are we doing here?
Yeah. So when you think of network marketing, typically there's going to be typically, if you're working within an organized structure that exists already, there's going to
Okay.
be some kind of product or service that you're possibly consuming yourself, promoting to others, and you have
Okay.
a portion of the retail profit typically when it moves
Yeah.
to a customer. And there might be, if it's more of a multi-level approach, there might be some leadership bonuses that go along with the success of others that typically will come from the cut of the profit that's made from the sale going through of that product or service as it's
Okay.
sold.
Okay.
So say in $1, let's say there's 30% profit, and then let's say there's another 20% that'll get paid out to distributors of that product for promoting
I
it
see.
and for helping other people be successful.
Okay.
So that's typical in a nutshell. If you were to say like,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about network marketing, that's typically how it works. The products and services that we've worked with are like commodity products that a lot of people use in their home. And
Okay.
so like health and fitness is 80% of our business. There's
Sure.
also some other lines that we promote for about a dozen products online. So,
Oh,
or
I
a
see.
dozen product lines,
Okay.
a couple hundred
Things
products.
you're using,
Yeah.
and you're saying, hey, we use this.
Yeah.
Especially health and fitness. That probably
Yeah.
feels like it aligns really well
Yeah. So I
for
think
you.
when it's something that you already like, I was literally a personal trainer. When I saw this as a side hustle opportunity, I was
Yeah.
like, I already use everything that,
Yeah.
they're showing me that they promote. I can just switch over, use some of this stuff. If people ask me about it, I would just give genuine,
Little
honest
review.
recommendations.
Okay.
I would never promote something that I didn't like. So, out of a couple hundred products, I would
Yeah.
pretty much just be like, here's my story. Here's a couple things that I've really liked. And,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be like really annoying about it. I think one thing that separates the avenue that we've chosen to go and a lot of the other opportunities that other people have had that have maybe given a little bit worse taste in some people's
Sure.
mouth is the mentorship that we've gotten has given us a more professional approach than what some other people do. I think sometimes people try to just like they have this opportunity, but they don't have guidance on how to do it
Yeah.
professionally. So they just go about it how they think they should, but
Okay.
then it comes off weird to people or
It
it comes off
does.
annoying or
Yeah.
like they just the way they do it just doesn't leave
It
a good
doesn't feel
taste in people's mouth.
genuine. It doesn't
So
feel like, are you really using this product, or did you just make this video in your bathroom because you're
yeah,
going to get
or
a
they're
piece
like
of it?
overly pushing it on the people that they know really well, and like it just is too much. So, but the guidance that we've gotten, the advice that we've gotten has always been a very professional approach
That's
and
good.
just ways to be tasteful and
Yeah.
ways to be like not annoying everybody around you with your
And
products and
Right.
I
stuff.
would
So
jump in and say, whatever is annoying, it doesn't work.
typically long term, either the
Yeah.
person doing it gets tired of being that person or and having
Yeah.
to do that, or like it just fizzles out because it doesn't work long term, like you
And I
said.
kind of like, we've got, quite a few years experience in the industry. So we've heard every, if you want to call it objection, there
Yeah.
is, we've heard it.
Yeah.
And trust me,
Okay.
I've heard more than you've heard. I've heard more than,
I believe it.
somebody could go on Reddit or whatever it is and they, oh, I
Yeah.
heard about this. I'm like, I've heard way worse.
Sure. Well,
Like you think that's something. Let me tell you about this over here. That's a real story that I actually saw happen and
Yeah.
unfold, But the folks that you see on social media, they're approaching it as a small business, in my opinion.
Okay.
They're approaching it as a small business. They're approaching it where they're just trying to sell some products, make a little bit extra money. The network marketing industry can be kind of related to or referred to as direct selling. It can also be referred to as multi-level marketing. Those are three terms that are kind of synonymous there.
Yeah. Okay.
And some people focus on one or the other, but they're really all the same. Direct selling just means the products are not sold in stores like Walmart, Targets, the big
Okay.
stores. That's all direct selling really means. When it comes to network marketing, you take the two terms, you're building a large network, and then other companies or a company is able to market their products into that network.
Okay.
It's the ultimate way of doing business, and most companies
Sure.
would understand
Well,
this
yeah.
because you don't spend any money on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
If any company that's selling retail type products could spend zero on advertising and pay only
Best
to people
case.
that produce for them, it's 100% commission if you want to look at it that way, but it's the value of being able to build a network.
Okay.
And so you'll hear terms like your net worth is directly related to your network. You look at somebody that oversees or has an influence over a very large network. We understand this in social media terms because of influencers. You have
Yeah.
100,000 followers. Your podcast gets this many views.
Right.
The larger your network, the larger your audience, then the more you're valuable, right? The more
Okay.
you can demand on the compensation side. It's the whole supply and
Sure.
demand ratio. And so I studied marketing in college, and I understood that if I want customers, sometimes you don't go directly to them. You go where the customers are going to be. That's why, you see advertising at sporting events. That's why you see advertising in anywhere there's a large amount of circulation.
Yeah.
So for us, network marketing just meant instead of us trying to sell a product on a big site like an Amazon where we own the product, I just look at it differently. We would rather build and develop the network, and then the products can interchange. The products
Okay.
can come and go. So we're not putting all of our hope in the future on a product.
Yeah.
because
Because it could
products
change.
have a shelf life.
Yeah.
You know, the number one selling product on Amazon 10 years ago may not even exist today.
That's true.
The sales of that product may be gone. So whoever
Yeah.
owned that product 10 years ago may have made a lot of money, but they don't have an evergreen product that's going to produce income for them long term.
Yeah.
We have been involved in this industry for coming up on 20 years. Well, we have met people that have been involved in the industry for 30, 40, and 50 years.
Wow.
That's a career.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a willable business model.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very attractive ingredient, meaning whatever we build, it can pass on to our children, and then it can even pass on to our grandchildren. So when you talk about being able to take care of multiple generations, you talk about being able to build a business that it doesn't have high pressure. It
Mm-hmm.
allows you to have the benefits and the rewards that we wanted. Because for both of
Right.
us, the commonality that we cared about was, what can we do that can provide time and money, but also we're very social. We love
Yeah.
people.
Let's get out of here.
We want to
Yeah.
be involved and we want to have relationships. We want to create experiences. We want to create memories. We don't want to be the only ones to get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
We want to go to the top of the mountain with a team, with a bunch of other people.
Okay.
And I would say that's probably one of the most enjoyable aspects, because when I look at business owners, I've got a friend that started a flooring company and he did really well. And he told me, John, I've been in business for 8 years. 5 of my former employees are now running their own flooring company.
Sure. It's actually happened to me too, so I can understand
And
that.
you're a bookkeeper, so you
Yeah.
also probably see it a lot.
Yeah.
You know a lot about people's business.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it. And in the traditional sense, the downfall is it's hard to find good people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the number one thing you and I hear from other contractors.
Yeah.
How do you find good people? That's really hard. What's also hard is keeping good people.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And I think we live in a day and age where people want to blame everybody else. They're millennials, they're Gen
Yeah.
Z, they're lazy. I don't know that people are lazy as much as they're just uninspired.
Hmm.
Because if I come work
Yeah.
for you and there's no pathway, I can't see a path, or there's no process for me to get to the point where I can have a better lifestyle,
Yeah.
well, then why am I going to be motivated?
Right.
Why am I going to be a sellout? Why am I going to sell out and go all in to help you build your company so you can
Yeah.
have the nice house, the nice car?
The ceiling you were talking about, you feel that ceiling.
Right. Sure. Yeah. How do you build raving fans, whether it's with clients or your team? And as a tax accountant, sometimes you're too inspiring, where people feel like, I want to own my own thing. And thank you for the time that I've been here, but now I'm going to go start my own. Or your clients say, you've educated me so much, I think I can do it myself now. And you're like, I love that. So you guys are building raving fans. Walk me through what a day-to-day looks like, or a Saturday to Sunday, if we're doing it on the weekends. Like, what are you doing intentionally to build these raving fans?
Okay.
Does it look different every day?
So I'll say that has changed over time, because the
Okay.
nature of what we do, initially the energy that we put in when we
Mhm.
were first getting started in business was developing a customer base. So we
Okay.
had to develop, just a handful of people who were purchasing commodity products and
Okay.
repurchasing when they ran out of those. So
Yeah.
by doing that, we were able to check that off the list. We have not, just for our business model, we've not continued to grind in the selling part.
Okay.
We can,
Yeah.
I'm a yoga instructor. When I teach a class, if somebody says that they're cramping and they have this big cramp in their leg or something like that, I'm going to be like, I had the exact same thing in the middle of class one day. I was like about to yell because my leg
Storytelling.
hurt so bad. And here's the product that I used, and it has
Yeah.
helped. It's amino acids. Your body uses those to,
Okay.
I can tell my story of how I used a certain health and
Yeah.
fitness type product that happens to
And
be
they're
one that we have
engaged
access to.
Because they trust you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I can just use my own daily life to
Mhm.
continue to expand customer base, which I've
Okay.
done. But it's not the focus of our day to day. So nowadays,
Wow.
we have a certain longevity of business experience and
Mhm.
resources and tools and a system and a community, like he talked about, very positive community of
Yeah.
business owners and people who have side hustles similar to ours in the local
Okay.
area that
That-
we basically organize, that we teach. We, as people are getting started in
Yeah.
business, we have certain roles that we still do that we did when we got started, as far as mentoring people, and certain
Okay.
roles we've built our way out of because there's leaders, like you talked about, building up people and they learn the
Yes.
skills that you have,
They're like,
and they
"Oh,
can do those things now. We have people that we have helped get started in business 10 years ago who now can help other people get started in business successfully and develop a customer base and learn the professional skills that they
Yeah.
need to be able to sell products, to be able to network, to be able
Okay.
to professionally expand their own businesses. And so even the mentoring part, we've
Yeah.
built our way out of some of that
Okay.
as we continue to do that on a day-to-day. So some of our day-to-day is just, we're here if you need us. And so,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
that's the same for
Because
us.
of the
Like,
work that you put
we have
in.
certain business mentors that are the
Mhm.
same way. Like, we have people that we can call if we need something, or we have
Oh,
a
that's
specific,
nice.
logistical question or something that's maybe big picture that we've never dealt with before, or
Yeah.
you're dealing with humans in business. So sometimes
Yes.
there's wonky things that might pop
Mhm.
up that might be new. We can always give a phone call to people who are more successful than us in certain areas and be like, how would you handle this? Or here's
Oh,
what's
that's
going on. Here's
nice.
what we're thinking. Do you think that's the way to go? Or are we off track here? So
Yeah.
that's what our day-to-day looks like. It's kind of just course correcting what we think we need to do as far as going
Yeah.
from the point where we're at to the next level. Mentoring some people depending on the level that they're at in business, and the people we're mentoring typically are helping other people in business as well. So a
Okay.
lot of that is leadership skills now. A
Yeah.
lot of that is handling issues that pop up. It's working with people. It's more of the
Right.
interpersonal stuff. It's not as much of the grind that you would think of. It's
Okay.
more of the just dealing with the big picture of like holding a large organization together in a positive, functional way, making sure that it's growing and thriving and that people are having a great
Mhm.
time and that they have a sustainable business that they're excited to grow in the future as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So
So
a lot of leadership chat,
yes,
if you will.
yes,
So, and
yes.
you aren't feeling when I said the person that I built up so much, they went and started their own business. Hope she's doing well. That
We
was
wish them the
such a
best.
good time. You look at leadership like you want to build up those around you. It's like you had mentioned, you don't want to be the only one at the top of the mountain. You're building up people around you. So if someone comes to you for mentorship, leadership, you're happy to teach versus I don't want to tell you what I'm doing
Yeah.
because then you'll go and do it and then
Our
you'll make more
environment's
money.
not competitive with what we
Okay.
do specifically. So we would love for others to be successful. So I've
Collaborating.
I've seen that a lot more. I feel like with people coming up, that's the younger generation. I love that.
Yeah.
Is like, it seems like a lot of, whether it's music artists or whether it's YouTubers, it's like it seems to, now I'm almost 40, so I probably sound like an old lady here, but it seems like they like to
You're amongst
collaborate, build
like-minded
each other
people.
up, encourage everybody to go and
Yes.
support that person, go and watch that
Mhm.
person, go and listen to that person. It's
Okay.
not like, if you win, I lose.
We
Sure.
call it like a zero-sum game, right? Where like
Yeah.
if somebody wins,
It's
everybody else
yeah, it's
loses.
like they're not the competition. They're good for them. Like, go
Yeah.
grow, and then promote me back. Like,
Right.
so it's very
Mm.
collaborative.
Oh,
So
I
what
love
we
that.
do is extremely collaborative.
Okay.
'Cause
And you're mentoring people to do the same thing, it sounds like.
yes,
So you're not only sharpening your leadership tools, you're helping others do the same.
Because the
It's
greatest
very different.
compliment is somebody that can go further than you. That really
and
I
let's
is.
love
hope your
that.
kids do. I mean, we have 3
Yeah.
kids. I don't think we've said that on here. So we have 3 little boys, 7,
Yeah.
5, and 1-year-old.
All boys?
All boys. Yes,
Mhm.
all boys.
Oh.
So, and you always hope like your kids will do better than you, and
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
provide them a better future. We talk about like that our ceiling will be their floor. And we love that. Like,
I
we
love
hope
that.
that they will have just the best future ever. That's how we feel about the people we work with
Yeah.
in this arena as well.
Oh,
You know,
that's nice.
in the network marketing industry, a lot of folks you'll hear people say, well, the guy at the top makes all the money. Well, here's our experience. The couple that helped us start our business,
Yeah.
we have earned more than them.
Okay.
We had then turned around and we were helping a couple that were on our team up in Indianapolis.
Mhm.
They started earning more income than us. So think of that. There was a couple that were technically above us in the line of
Yeah.
of sponsorship.
Yeah.
We were earning more than them, and then the couple below us was earning more than us.
Love
That's
it.
backwards to what
Yeah.
somebody might say,
That's not what you would think at all.
because it's truly an equal opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an unlimited business plan. Now, there's a lot of different, structures to different multi-level marketing companies that are out there.
Yes.
And some of the negatives, you hear people say, well, you only make money when you recruit people. Well, yes and no.
That's
Because
part of it, but not all of it.
no, we don't make
Okay.
any money. Matter of
Okay.
fact,
We lose money when we sponsor somebody. We're
That's so
investing
funny.
into them.
Yeah.
We're
because when
investing a lot
somebody,
of time and money into them. And we hope one day they will be successful,
Okay.
and then we will receive a portion of that.
when
But
somebody
Mm.
starts a network marketing business, depending on which company or organization it is, Some of them will do what's called front loading. Now, have you ever heard that term before?
In a different kind of way where they're putting all the money, investing into someone, putting all that front work in.
Okay, so
Is it
front loading in
similar?
this industry would be, okay, congratulations, Ashley, you're going to join our team.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $3,500, but you're not paying
Okay.
$3,500 to be a part of it. You're buying $3,500 of inventory.
Oh,
That's
Like
what they would do.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of different
And
types of
that's like the
structures.
front loading.
okay. So I'm
Um,
thinking like Arbonne or
Yeah, that would be an example.
Mary
Yeah,
Kay or
they might
something
require
where
that.
you have to buy the inventory and then you sell it. But
Yeah.
then you make more money when people join your downline.
But see, it's kind of, I hate to use this as like a deceptive way, but when the front loading occurs, that's a way for the person that got you started to make money.
Sure, because
Because
now they're
when
buying
you-
all this product.
when
'Cause
you
it's
bought-
product movement,
Yeah.
When you
but-
move
And
the
they get
product,
commission.
somebody's going to benefit from that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we don't do any front loading. We don't recommend that. I don't believe in that.
So you don't have any inventory.
No inventory
Correct.
whatsoever.
No inventory, and there's no
Mm.
literally when you like quote sign up, there's no fees.
Yeah.
Like you're not
Yeah.
paying a fee to get started. You're not paying a fee to buy a bunch of
Okay.
like
Oh, I
extra
love that.
random stuff. So
How is this different from being an affiliate marketer?
It's a very similar approach
Okay.
because of the relationship, right? Like
so
you,
affiliate marketing, you're referring to like when you're online and you maybe plug a product,
Yes.
and then you get a portion of that.
Yes.
So that in my mind, one differentiating factor is that that's a single level. So like
Okay.
you get a portion of the sales. So you're
Sure.
any retail that goes through that website, whatever it is you're linking to, if something goes through, you get a portion. So that's an
Okay.
aspect of what we do as well. There's just
Mm.
with
There's
what
just
we do
more
in
to
network
it.
marketing, there's the team aspect as well, where
Oh,
you have
okay.
the ability to if somebody else wants the same business opportunity with the same companies and mentorship programs that we work with, then when they get started, then as we help them become successful, there would be percentages of the profit from the parent companies that would come to us for helping them in
Okay.
leadership aspects.
Okay. So it's a little different. So
So
when I think of like
similar-
people, I'm totally imagining you doing like TikTok videos. Don't tell me you're gonna do it. 'Cause
have you
I
seen
made
my
one
channel?
ever. I made
Have
one.
you seen my
I haven't
TikTok
I made a
channel?
cheesy dance with my sister
No.
one time on
Did
TikTok.
you? You have to like
I don't
follow
even
the
have
trends.
TikTok
Although I am-
downloaded on my
yeah.
phone.
That actually doesn't surprise me because of, what I know about you in a different kind of environment. Like I would think you would think I can't have TikTok because it's listening to what I'm saying, and I don't trust certain commodities, certain entities in this
Yes.
country. Okay. So we are maybe making TikTok videos, but it's not a necessity to do network marketing.
I would
Um,
say nobody in our organization
It's making
Okay.
uses
TikTok.
social media like that. Like so
Really?
we're night and day different. And that's why I think a lot of people,
And it's
because
not good or
that's
bad. I don't want to put that down
Yeah.
either because
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
Well,
that.
they
That's
have their
maybe its
own-
own whole thing. Like
Yeah.
maybe the next generation coming up, they're going to do
but it's
great with
loud,
that.
right? That's
Yeah.
loud. It's seen, it's heard. We kind of think of that.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people always associate the network marketing model like
Yes.
that.
I did.
A lot of people associate with, like you mentioned, some of the ladies' skincare companies. And some of those are great companies. There's a
Sure.
lot of women that have done very well in that. A lot of women that would attribute a lot of their success and their happiness
Yeah.
have come from that.
Mhm.
And we love entrepreneurship. I want to encourage, if somebody comes to me and says, I want to start this business, I may not think it's
Love
a
it.
good business, but I would rather you go
Yeah.
and do it. Because why should we steal the experience from somebody?
You wouldn't tell him it's a bad idea? John, that's not being a good friend.
One of my favorite stories that I've ever heard is a good friend of ours. Her name is Amy.
Mm-hmm.
She was in college and she
Mhm.
wanted to start a business in the summertime, and it was running a painting business.
Okay.
Okay.
Painting houses.
Like she would
Painting
paint
houses.
residential houses, but because she's an amateur and she would have other college students, it's a very discount painting job.
Okay.
So
And
people,
she had this little car, and so would strap a ladder on the top. It was this whole rinky-dink thing.
but so
Okay.
Amy's very entrepreneurial. She's
So
one
we
of our,
love Amy.
yeah, Amy's one of our
Okay.
better friends, probably one of our best friends. You know, her and her husband, Brad, we've been really close to them for a long
You
time.
call her a better friend?
Yeah.
Do you have better friends and best friends? Is that like
She's the
something?
best better. She's a better best. She's the best.
Everybody needs an Amy in their life. Okay. Everybody needs a Brad.
better friend.
But anyway, so she goes to her dad.
Yeah.
Now, not all dads are equal in this sense.
Sure.
Amy's dad, his background was as a financial advisor and a business
Oh.
consultant.
Okay. Totally in a different world.
So he understands, like he analyzes businesses for
Sure.
people. People come to him and say, hey, what do you think about this business? That's
Mhm.
what he does. That's his
Yeah.
30, 40 years career.
Did he break Amy's heart?
No, she came to him and she said, Dad, what do you think about this business?
Mhm.
Instead of giving his opinion, which so many people do.
Yes.
He said, "What do you want to do?" And she
Mhm.
said, "I think I want to do it." And he said, "Then do it. I think you should."
He said, okay, kid, go
Aw,
do it. I believe
Amy's
in you.
dad.
Now, she went and did it the whole summer. It was a massive failure.
Okay.
Like, she
She
lost
says,
so
"But
much
a good
money.
experience."
Sure.
Like she was
But
like, "I learned a
I
lot."
learned something.
from a financial standpoint, it was a massive failure. Like,
Okay.
he actually, I believe, had to write a check to help pay her employees.
Oh,
Like, that's how
Amy.
bad it went.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she goes back to her dad in the summer and she's like, Dad, that wasn't good at all. Like,
Yeah.
that was bad.
She's like, "Why'd you tell
Why
me to
did
do
you
it?"
tell me?
And he looks at her and he says, Amy, or she goes, did you know it was going to be like that? He goes, oh yeah, I could have told you that from day one. It was going to be a train wreck.
Oh,
And she's like, well, then
Amy.
why would you let me do it?
Right.
And he said, I wasn't going to steal the experience from you.
I
And
don't love that, but I like the story. But I do see what you're saying.
he knew he was going to take care of her. Like if it
Yeah.
went south, he knew
Sure,
he was going to fix it.
there. He
He
was
knew
there for
if he
it.
had to come in and save the day, he was willing to.
Okay.
But what she even says to this day, that's one of her favorite experiences because it taught her
Aw.
so much.
And you fast
Aw.
forward, I mean, coming right out of college, she started a pediatric obesity
Mhm.
clinic where she started this whole successful business, ended up
Yeah.
selling that business to a health club, and then ended up going on to be
Oh,
successful in so many
okay.
other arenas.
Amy's
So
come a long way.
it really, like,
Hmm.
that, call it a train wreck experience, but like she learned a lot of stuff that she was able to
Right.
build on in her later career.
Sure.
So-
You learn more from failure
Yeah.
than
So I want to relate that back to what we do in
Yeah.
our industry because so many people are afraid of making that leap to
Yeah.
become a business owner. So many people are hesitant. They're scared. They focus on their fears. They don't focus on their dreams or their visions.
Sure.
Like we trust we trust our doubts and we don't trust our vision. We don't trust where
I
we
like
want to
that.
go,
Yeah.
but we feed that doubt. And it's so many people we meet. They're like, I don't know if I could ever be good at this. I'm like, why do you care? Why does that matter? That should
Yeah.
not matter when you're thinking about what you really want. Go back to the three currencies. Everybody wants money, but they're
Yeah.
not thinking in terms of what's going to help them get the money. It's time or it's knowledge.
Mhm.
Well, very few people have 25 years experience when they're 20 years old.
Right.
They have
It's
no
impossible,
experience.
yeah.
So what they need is they need experience. Well, how do they
Mm.
get experience? They need to go do something. One of my very first jobs in sales was a residential salesman, knocking doors, selling cable. I did not want to go do it.
That is not on brand for you at all.
It was
That's a
and
very
at the
different
time
job.
too, my personality was very introverted. I didn't want to talk to
What?
anybody. I didn't want to look you in the eye.
Okay.
Like that was my natural personality. I didn't want to unless I had
But-
liquid courage, I was not going to
we
be the
were
life
not
of the
doing
party.
that.
No.
But through what you guys have been doing, it sounds like you were forced to talk to a lot of people, embrace the uncomfortable. You have that entrepreneurial spirit, so you had to do things you've never done before. And today, I mean, you're leading large business groups every single week. I mean, you're talking to people every single day. Your job is sales, but in a conversational way because you're not even really moving product. So it's a different kind of sales. So the journey in between, I'm sure, didn't look perfect. But for someone that maybe has no experience with network marketing, you can tell I didn't even know what it was. Still struggle because you guys don't make the videos. So I'm still like, you're
Do you
not
need
making
some
the
videos?
videos. Yeah, kind of.
We'll make some videos now.
Make some videos. We're not using social media as our main platform, is what it sounds like. So for someone that is listening or is interested, how do they get into this? How do they start?
It's a
they're
relationship.
older and feel like, well, I'm definitely not going to jump on dancing trends. I don't love going live on Facebook and Instagram. And I've never been in a sales role. How would they get started?
For somebody to get started in this type of an industry, it's there's a couple things you want to consider. The company, the longevity, the people. That's kind of what I would look at. I don't care so much about the opinions of a million people out there that I've never met.
Okay.
I find it interesting that we have people that they'll care more about the opinion of somebody they've never met than somebody they could sit down across the table from and have a conversation with.
Right.
So for me, it's, can you do something in your spare time? And I think
Mhm.
everybody has time.
Yeah.
And so how do you get started? You sometimes you get started a little bit slowly. That process doesn't have to be once the light turns green, slam on the gas and let's go. For a lot of people we help get started, it's, hey, let's help you get acclimated with some new habits. Maybe you don't have habits that are being inquisitive and
Yeah.
being friendly. that wasn't my natural personality. So I had to
Right.
learn how to be inquisitive. I had to learn how to think outside the box. I had to learn how to be a little more, if you want to call it explorative. Because if
Mhm.
you're only staying in your own little circle,
Yeah.
then
What are you doing?
you're limited to opportunities that can come your way.
Yeah.
So if we don't get outside and we don't go network, I love networking. I believe it's the key to building anything.
Yeah.
You can, because again, if you're going to build a company, you have to spend money on advertising or word of mouth.
Yeah.
So for us, it's all based on referrals, relationships,
Okay.
recommendations. That's typically how people get started.
Okay. But
the-
they
And
can come to you.
and ideally, if you have access to somebody who is making good money or has results in an industry that
Okay.
you're trying to get into, that would be the ideal way to go about it. So,
Yeah.
we were fortunate to be connected with some people who, my friend in college was able to introduce me to some people who were successful in business
Right, the
already. And so I was able
connection.
to ask them questions because if you don't
Yeah.
have to reinvent the wheel on a small business, that's helpful to not
Right.
do the same pitfalls and that others might have done. They can tell you, hey, maybe avoid this. And that's why when people get started working with us that we would be mentoring, we can help them navigate ways that have worked with 20 years experience almost and things
Yeah.
that typically are a waste of time and you can do it, but
We
it
wouldn't
may
recommend
not,
it this
it might,
way.
get you
Yeah.
tired and not a lot of results.
Yeah.
So if you can find somebody that already has, we call it fruit on the tree, success in a certain area, that's great. And in our specific business, we have a business vehicle, the vehicle meaning the actual business you're doing. But other people out there, like if we're talking to the general population, it would be some people already have a small business. And so
Yeah.
I would give the same advice to them. Find somebody that has a similar type, maybe in the same industry or a similar type of business to what you're doing that you can get advice from that's down the road from you, that's more successful than you,
Sure.
that's 20 years down the road or just more successful in general. Because if you can ask them questions and maybe you're already doing your own business and it's your own thing, it's unique,
Right.
that's cool. Or maybe it's a duplicatable type business like what we have. But I do think the mentorship sets it apart a ton.
From everything.
And
Yeah.
so, like, we were fortunate, in my opinion, for me, I liked that there was already a system in place of like certain books they would recommend or certain
Yeah.
podcasts and audios that might be helpful or certain do's and don'ts to like have a good long-term ongoing type business. Because, what I might have thought would work back then, I might have had a very short
Be-
run at
right.
it because I was a college kid and I didn't really have much business
Yeah, your brain is
experience.
different. But if people
So-
if they are watching this and saying, I want to do what they're doing, they can come to you because you do mentor. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or what does that look like?
Yeah, we do. We mentor. We have connections with people who are extremely, literally the most successful that anybody can
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much
yeah.
be in network marketing. We have close access to
Yeah.
those people.
And you'll guide them through.
And so we might mentor them ourselves. We might point them to somebody that we're working with who's a good fit to mentor them. So
Okay.
Like the relationship, that dynamic, if there's somebody that you're going to start working with, they're going to go into business for themselves, but they're just not by themselves. And that's the relationship that she's talking about where we're years down the road.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to be your boss. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to, force you to do anything.
Right.
You can do as much or as little as you want. But if you value the perspective of somebody that's already gone down the path that you're going, and you want to have a pathway to ownership, you want to have a pathway to where, okay, I could actually create the lifestyle that I want. Is it a guarantee? Is it a promise? Absolutely not. And that's why I talked about early on, like the
Yeah.
promise doesn't meet the reward
Yeah.
because people are promised like, oh, you're going to make 6 figures. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But I also could tell you that we've seen a lot more people fail than quote unquote succeed in the industry.
Sure.
Success leaves clues and so does failure.
A lot of clues. A lot of color for
And
sure.
so when you ask like the day to day for us earlier, for us, it's, anything could happen because we could sell a product to somebody, although that's not our primary focus, but also just by being friendly, just by having conversations, taking a genuine interest in other people, that's what starts everything. Because if somebody were to express that they have a want, need, or desire, and they don't know how to solve that problem, or they're in a place in life where they would like to be able to do this, but they can't,
Right.
then I can ask them, well, hey, are you looking for any solutions for that? Or do you just want to complain about it all the time?
Yeah. There's a very different, 2 different answers there. So I love that. I love that you're saying never be the smartest person in the room because we talk about that all the time. Surrounding yourself with people that, know more than you. So you mentioned you have 3 boys.
Mhm.
I'm also a boy mom.
How many do you have?
I have 2, and they're wild. So it sounds like this has been a business that changes with you, that is seasonal and commitment, if you will. What does the balance look like for you?
Yeah.
I only know a little bit because of what we talked about out there, but I want to hear, what does work-life balance look like for you,
Yeah.
if that even exists?
Yes.
What does that
So
even
yeah,
mean?
when I first got started in business doing entrepreneurial things, I was in college full time and working 2 part-time jobs and had business on the side. Then I transitioned into working full time, graduated college,
Sure.
70 hours a week, sales job, business on the side.
Yeah.
The business on the side for me, he talked about it a little bit, but it was pockets of time and it was habit stacking. So pockets of time being like, if I was, if I had time to be on Facebook, I had time to have my face in a book. That's what I would say. So I would get out a business book that was recommended by somebody and I would read. Or if I was driving,
Yeah.
my commute to work was listening to something that was going to benefit me with my business. It was, it was learning from people who were top of the industry for me. So I would take pockets of time. I would habit stack, meaning if I'm brushing my teeth, I'm also listening to a podcast. If I'm, whatever I could do that I could also do something else, running on the
Right.
treadmill. I love fitness.
Mhm.
If I was at the gym working out and I had my, headphones
Yeah.
in, I was listening to something beneficial to me. Okay,
Mhm.
sometimes I was listening to some jams if I was
Yeah.
running really fast on the treadmill, but otherwise I'm
Yeah.
listening to something that's going to benefit me. So
Mhm.
the habit stacking part was crucial because I wouldn't have
Yeah.
been able to fit it in otherwise. I would come home
Right.
exhausted from work. I would want to go to bed. But I could fit it into pockets of time and I could habit stack. Sometimes even if I'm sitting at my desk at work, I could be typing and listening to something.
Yeah.
So those 2 things were important back then. And transitioned into working full time. We were married for several years before we had kids, and we were in, I would say that was our peak of hustle mode. Like we would get off work at 5, but both of us were chasing our dreams. We were, from 5 to probably 9 o'clock at night, we were just being productive. We might drive somewhere to help somebody with something business wise. We might go somewhere just to spend time with somebody that we're working with. It might just be hanging out with them, but it was part of our business because we were building relationships and we were developing something long term so we can build rapport with them and they can get better advice from us
I
in
love
business
that.
and stuff. So so that was our really, I would say, one of the peak grind seasons where honestly our income jumped up in our business. And
Interesting.
through that, we were able to get to a point where we were making more in our business on the side than we were at my job personally. And I was the manager of marketing for a health club. I was like social media and digital marketing and all that stuff. And so when we had our first kid, I was like, I love my job. I want to stay there. I really like what I'm doing. I love the creative part of marketing, like I said. So I wanted to keep working. Well, then I missed the first crawl. I missed the first roll. I missed the first steps. And that was the last straw for me. I was like, screw this. I hate corporate. I want to have a different work-life balance. I'm tired of missing these milestones. So, fortunately for me, we were able to build our business, kind of build your roof before it rains type of thing, where we were able to have enough income where I could step away from corporate. So at that point, I made that choice. So that work-life balance at the time that was working for me, I decided it didn't anymore.
You wanted to change it.
And I wanted to change it. So I started teaching yoga just for fun, something to get away from the house. I know switching from corporate to mom life sometimes can be hard too, because then you're like going crazy at the house with the baby. Like you're not even talking to adults anymore and you're like going stir crazy.
Totally
So for me,
different.
having yoga as an outlet where I could just go teach some power yoga and
be with other adults.
Talking to adults and like just, de-stress a little bit. And then, but so the mom life for me was a good work-life balance. Now, business could still fit into those pockets of time. It might be nap time. It might be after bedtime. Some people work better with that, like putting the kid to bed at 7 and they can grind for 2 hours in their business after that. Some people work better where it's just constant pockets of time. I mean, we have a friend who has 5 kids and she's able to fit stuff in when someone's at school right before this pickup and right after that pickup. Like,
I mean, superheroes
one thing
that wear a lot of different capes.
Yes. So one thing that has always been true about the network marketing business model, in my opinion, is that it fits into pockets of time at different stages of life. So for me, in mom life, that looks different. I will say I actually think I'm busier now than I was back in college when I thought I was so busy, or back when I was working corporate and thought I was so busy. Like, at least I had time to go to the bathroom. Now, when I'm in the bathroom, it's like, Mom, go get me a sandwich. Mom,
the hands
wipe
under,
my butt. Like,
under the
somebody
door. Yes. Like,
Mom,
like, where's your dad?
So, so mom life is different and busy in its own way. But for John also, he has worked several corporate jobs, several independent type roles with sales where it was more like 1099 contractor where he was able to set his own schedule. And that's what we've preferred as we've gotten a little bit older
Okay.
now, and with kids, we like to have those flexible schedules. So for
Yeah.
him, it might be just kind of like being able to set his own calendar, being able to have
Mm,
plenty of free time. Anytime I enroll our
right.
kids in sports, he's like, tell me every practice, every game. I'm like, you don't have to go. I want to free you up. This is just for the kids to get some energy out. Like, you
Right.
go do whatever you need to do. And he's like, no, I'm going to be at practice.
Yeah. Do you guys share calendars?
We do. We do.
Okay. My
Yeah.
husband and I do too,
Yeah.
especially for stuff like that.
So
Yeah.
so for him, he never wants to miss anything athletic. He wants to make sure he's there for like
Mhm.
important events, school
Yeah.
stuff, whatever that he wants to be there for. So
And you
for
feel like you have that.
yeah, and so
That's
what I like
nice.
about it is with network marketing and independent business ownership in general is the
Yeah.
ability to just set that schedule the way you want it, as packed
Mm.
as you want it, as not packed as you want it, and it does change
Okay.
in seasons of life. I think certain times we valued more of the time, and we were like, let's
Right.
do the minimum amount of work so that we can have
Be
the most time.
right. Be
But then other
present.
times it's like we want to level up our income for certain things, and
Okay.
for virtuous reasons. You know, we
Yeah.
might want to put our kids in a private school, or we might
Sure.
want to give more towards certain charities or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's
You have
like if
different
you
values
want to
that kind of pop up
if you want to
in your
level up
life.
that
Yeah.
money, then maybe you're putting a little bit more grind time in,
Right.
and that's fine. And we're all in agreement on that as a family. And our kids
Yeah.
love it. It's really cute. We have a 7-year-old.
Mhm.
He's barely 7. He's still trying to make sense of the world, but
Yeah.
he loves business, just the idea of business. If you ask him how our
Really?
business works, he could explain it better to you than anybody.
Oh, well, I should have had him on
So
here.
his response, he'll say, you buy products, you sell products, and you help other people do the same thing.
I mean,
That's
couldn't have
his
said it better.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And he could tell you all his favorite products that he likes to use and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is random, but there's a kid's business fair that's popping up
Yeah.
in next week in
Mhm.
LaGrange, and they're doing like a little Shark Tank thing. He was the most excited individual on God's green earth about this event. So he has a little t-shirt business. He has a heat press at home.
Oh
And
my
he
gosh.
makes
Well,
it's called
that's full
Confident
circle.
Kids. Yeah, it's called Confident Kids, and he's all about just like speaking positive things and speaking positive to your friends.
Yeah.
And so he has his own what he calls his affirmations, where he's like, I am bold, I am strong, I'm confident, I am brave, I'm healthy, I am well, I have a hedge of
That is
protection, and it goes on and
so
on.
precious.
And so he makes these t-shirts to help kind of promote the idea of just positivity with kids and
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
And like you meet him, he's overconfident. Like he's literally
Oh, that's
he
the
thinks
best.
he's the best at
That's
everything, but we
the
love it.
better to be
'cause-
that way
yes.
than having to teach confidence.
Yes.
That's hard.
So we love it. He's the life of the
Yeah.
party. He makes friends everywhere
I
he
love
goes.
that.
So he's pitching this thing on this little Shark Tank next week
That's
about
so
his
brave,
t-shirt
though.
company. But he sees mom and dad chasing their dreams.
And he
that's
sees y'all
what
talking to people all the
yeah,
time. He
and
feels comfortable to
networking,
do
and
it.
that he's not
Mhm.
afraid to talk to people. Yeah.
Love that.
Like so I think that the long-term generational effect of
Yeah.
just
There it is.
chasing something and
Mhm.
grinding, and like sometimes it's good for your kids to see that. So I think
Mm.
sometimes parents have a fear of like being away or
Right.
missing things or whatever, but I also do see the value in a kid like observing their
Yeah.
parents chasing something that they're excited about, being around
Right.
positive people, growing, having that growth mindset,
Yeah.
like saying, we can have bigger and better, we can
This-
do more, we can help
Yep.
more people, we can give more to charities than we are right now, and continuing to have that growth mindset in all areas versus like being so content. There is a part where I think it's good to be like grateful, thankful for
Right.
where
We're
you're
happy
at,
for
the
where we
present
are.
moment. I mean, I'm a yoga instructor too, so I'm like
Yeah.
on this dichotomy.
yeah.
I'm like, optimistic, bright future, but also like very happy and content with
Right.
the
Like
present.
sit still and
So
be
there's
happy where you
I see a
are.
value in both and a
Mhm.
balance in both, especially in raising kids. But I do see it definitely a value in chasing something in front of them so that
I think
they
that's
have
beautiful.
that too. Because he's just
Yeah.
doing what he sees mom and dad do, and he is just the cutest little entrepreneur.
Oh, it just speaks volumes about what y'all are doing at home, behind the scenes, behind your TikTok dances that you don't do. And so
I'm
I love
gonna
that.
make him do it.
John, you need to do at least one. Just slip it into those like slides that you're making every week. I
Uh-huh.
would be so happy. So as we wrap up, how can people find you? Because it's obviously not a TikTok dance, but how can people reach out to you if they have questions, if they are interested? One way I know that an episode went well, not just, oh, well, they talked a lot, because, people love talking about themselves, so that's fine, is when at the end of an episode, I feel like, oh, I'm invested. Like, I want to buy from this person. I want to work with this person. And I felt that. I really don't even understand a lot of like the ins and outs, but I think there are going to be other people that feel that way, that want to work with y'all, that want to do what y'all are doing and have it. So how can they reach out? What's the best way for them to do that?
We're both on social media, Instagram. We're both on Facebook if somebody wants to track us.
Separately or?
Yeah, separately.
Okay.
And then I've got a LinkedIn. People can find me on LinkedIn. Just look up John Resch. Pretty
Okay.
easy to do that. Probably the best way, I would think.
LinkedIn?
One of those, yeah.
Okay.
I guess it is. I was going to say call him because he's a
Yeah.
call guy. Like if he has a chance,
Yeah.
he wants to be on the phone with somebody.
Okay,
So it
yeah.
will lead to that. If
It will lead
we
to
have a
it.
funny story where there was a girl who I had done a business meeting with a girl, and it ended up not being good timing for her to get started
Sure.
in any kind of business, which was cool. And but she told her fiance to reach out to John.
Yeah.
The guy reached out to him on Snapchat. Like John
Yikes.
was in his mid-30s. He
I was
was
gonna
not
say,
Snapchatting.
we're
so
not
he never got the
Snapchatters.
message. So it was like 2 years later.
But I had created an account like years ago. So the account
Right.
was
So he
there.
had an account, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was years later. They
But I
ended
didn't even
up
have the app on my
connecting,
phone.
and the guy was
Yeah.
like, "Why didn't you respond to me? I've been trying to get a
Oh.
hold of you. I want to be a part of your business." And today they're one of our best business partners and some of our best
So
friends.
not-
and
Just not Snapchat.
Not Snapchat.
That's
it
not my
is
thing either.
hilarious. So yeah,
Not TikTok, not
Yeah.
anything else that's new.
The normal,
So
like the
only
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Instagram.
And they can send you a message, you
Yeah.
know,
Shoot us a
say,
message,
I
yeah.
want to chat, but they need to know it might lead to a John phone call.
a John phone call, and then they
And
can
that's
get
not
to know
bad-
each other.
a bad
or
thing.
John Coffee. He's a
John Coffee?
He's a people person in the truest sense. I
Okay.
call him a social butterfly. It's funny, when we met, I was super outgoing, super sociable,
Yeah.
and he was a fly on the wall, and now we've flipped. Like, I don't know if it's mom life or
roles have
yoga or what, but
reversed.
I'm just like in the
All of it.
background watching, and
Yeah,
he is just the
observing.
life of the party. So
What?
So you can tell
John,
our
I
first
mean-
date was where?
oh, wedding. Okay. This was our very first date, and it's one of his good friends, and
Mhm.
all of like his whole social network here in Louisville was there. And so
Yeah.
I'm meeting like hundreds of people.
She traveled in from DC. We're gonna have our first like
This
weekend
is our
together,
first, like,
but
Okay.
in-person hanging
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Okay.
we got dressed up, you know.
I
Fun,
walk
looking
into this
good.
wedding reception. He is doing karaoke to Spice Girls. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. The top of his
Oh.
lungs, dancing. He's not drunk. Like he had not had a sip of
Okay,
alcohol.
this is
This
sober
was just
John.
him in his moment. I
Yeah,
was like,
doing his thing.
well,
You're
I'm
like,
probably going to marry him.
Right. Like, what's going on? But also, I'm in love with this person. Okay. Well,
I was impressed.
I'd
That
love to see
was-
more of that energy
He had me at Spice Girls.
anytime. I
Okay.
mean, seriously. And that is your tagline for life. He had me at Spice Girls.
He did, for
I
real.
love that
we had
so much.
We had a big like business retreat recently with some of our business partners, and we had to reenact it because we were like, let's do karaoke. And then we were like,
Yeah.
get John in here. And he was actually busy having a business conversation with a bunch of guys.
Oh.
And so I was like, if you start playing it, he'll come. And sure enough, we started playing it, and he comes prancing and
He's
starts
like,
dancing,
yeah.
rocking it out.
Okay. I love that.
It's
That's
awesome.
so fun. So a phone call with John or coffee with John or karaoke
Yes.
with John.
Yes.
Reaching out, sending a message, and they can kind
Yeah.
of go take it from there.
Yeah.
Take it from there. Cool.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much for giving me an hour plus of your time today.
Thanks for the invite.
If I could do it all over again, there'd be no wish I would, should have been. Spend more time with my family and friends. If I could do it all